or just RD hopping on. So I have a few minutes. My kettle is boiling. You might hear that in the background. But I wanted to hop on and I wanted to talk to something that I think makes me one of the best coaches for any mom that's out there to work with. So I had an amazing discovery call today with a person who wanted me to work with them for a really specific outcome. And in the conversation with them, I shared with them my approach of intuitive eating, getting us back to really being like in touch with our bodies, listening to what our bodies want, responding to feedback from our bodies, right? So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know one of the things as an intuitive eater is to allow the process of habituation to happen. So that means having access to food that maybe was previously off limits, that you just couldn't have in the house because then you would go overboard, or it might be a food that you routinely restrict. When you have access, you just eat it all, right? So the process of habituation is to have that food available over time, and then it doesn't stay on that pedestal, right? So then it's safe and it feels just normal to have that food. And in talking with the person about like my intuitive eating approach, then I realized after the call, like, oh man, like my approach has changed so much in the last 20 plus years, 21 or 22 years now, that I think that's what makes me the best coach. So I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. I've been through extremely stressful and challenging times. So I have all these tools in my backpack, so to speak, that make me the best coach, because I know what it is like to have kids. I know what it's like to be a single parent. I know what it's like to be going through stress. I know what it's like to see my body respond to stress in ways that maybe I didn't want it to, right? And for a lot of us, the body's response to stress is to hang on and keep us safe. And that can lead to weight gain. And I've even seen it in my child that has long COVID, right? Their food intake isn't accounting for the change in their body. And it's a conversation I get to have with my kids every single week about, fat. And fat's just a descriptive word, right? There's nothing necessarily wrong with anyone being fat. It's health behaviors and healthy habits, right? When we look at someone that carries extra weight or lives in a bigger body, it doesn't make them unhealthy. And that's something that I'm really working with my kids on. Fat is a word. There's nothing wrong with fat. And, even they've already got this idea at 6, 8, and 10 that having fat in their food is bad, So then I'm having to have conversations with them about how healthy fat's actually good, and it actually has a real role, and we need to have fat, and why I encourage my clients to have fat with every meal and every snack, right? Because I know what works. So, I know what works to keep energy consistent, blood sugar consistent. I know what works to support your body. I know what works to support your body through stress. I was just putting some supplements away and thinking, yeah, I never ever used to recommend supplements routinely. Now I have this little toolbox of things that I use to support my body and clients can use to support their bodies. Vitamin D, if you're in Canada, you need it. If you want more information, send me a message. But yeah, I just got to thinking about how much my practice has changed, right? When I was a new grad, I worked in a hospital. Right away, I was like, this is not my setting, right? People were sick, and that's where sick people should be. But when you're sick in hospital, there's a role for dietitians in hospital to figure out like how we're feeding the people. I worked first in enteral nutrition and TPN, so feeding people intravenously or through like a G tube to their stomach, because that's what they needed at the time. That's how sick they were. But I saw quickly that that's not where I want to spend my focus, because I want to help people prevent health conditions. And now, being a mom, that's why, like, being a mom for the last 10 years, my daughter just had her birthday, that's why my focus is on helping moms and help us change our relationship with food, our relationships with our body, because our kids watch it. And it's amazing. Every day I see my kids and I see their response. And even between my 3 kids, I see the difference in body shapes and body sizes. And it's all the same genetics, right? So it's so cool to see how their bodies respond to things differently. And that's why there's so many different sizes and shapes of people. And as females, we've been learned that, there should be only one way we should look. And even if we don't think we've internalized that, a lot of us have, right? So that's why I think like my focus now with that busy mompreneur, helping you get to, give up emotional eating, become an intuitive eater, feel good in your body now. And some people, as they become intuitive eaters, will see the body weight change. It may go down, it may go up, but it's not wrong. We're focusing on nourishing how we're feeling, confidence, happiness. Like, so much mental energy is expended by females between, the ages of like, I already see my 8-year-old asking about food and talking about bodies. Like, imagine from 8 to like 48, for example, 40 years of having to worry about food and count food and calculate food and go back and keep repeating those things. That uses up so much brain space. If we can get to a point where we just eat and food is food, it's neutral, it's not good or bad, it fuels us, and we know what fuels us better, and then we focus on that. So, another question that this potential client had was, can I help them with their specific condition? And for sure, like, I work with people that have, specific allergies, certain foods that they know that don't agree with them. And previously in my training, I'd be like, well, come on, that's a bunch of baloney. But now, because of some of the experiences I've lived, I know different bodies respond to food differently. So that's why, like, getting a generalized meal plan off of an app where it's tracking and counting and giving you like a bad mark because you ate no normal food or whatever, that doesn't work, right? So that's why, like, it gets down to like individualized assessments and recommendations, right? Because everybody is a bit different. And that's why, like, in my group program expansion, I'm so excited to be able to offer, like, okay, group coaching, because we know that accountability piece works. We know having connection with other humans is key. But then it's also that one-on-one support every week too, right? That you get to ask me questions, you get to talk about your specific concerns or your specific situations, and then we can really tailor it down. So it feels like the best of both worlds to me. I'm taking my emotional eating training. I've been doing coaching for emotional eating for the last 10 plus years, and combining it with the intuitive eating, which is, learning to live in our bodies, love our bodies, move because we want to, eat because we enjoy food. And I think that's where the magic lives, right? So I am your best coach. I am that mom. I am that person living that life. My body's changed over the last few years. Yeah, there's things that I want to be different, but like, there's also self-acceptance, self-love. There's so much more to life than just how we look, right? So yeah, it's just magic. I just wanted to share it with you guys. And I just thought, after that call, I thought, wow, like, my practice has changed so much in the last 20 years, so much in the last 5 years even, right? So I went through a concussion, so I have, a lot more knowledge around that. And it's amazing how many clients have come to me with concussion, not as their referral, but it's part of their story. And I can help them with that part of their story. And it's so fun. And some of them, like, it's game changer. And I'm not sharing necessarily nutrition things always for concussion, but some of the tools I've used. So I think that's what's super cool, is I'm able to share all these tools, all these resources that I have, the rapid transformational therapy that I've gone through, the osteopath I worked with, I can refer people to them, the naturopaths that I still work with. I can say, like, oh, this person's going to be a better resource for you than me on that particular topic. I can tell you my experience, but then I have all these other amazing physio and people to refer people out to. And I think that's what's really important if you work with a health coach, is someone that says, I think this person's a better fit. Or someone that says, I was explaining to this potential client today, she asked about meal plans. I'm all for, like, what's easiest for the client, but I know through my 20 years of practice, giving someone a meal plan isn't supporting them in the best way that I can. But getting them to know how to balance their meals and their snacks to give them the best energy, that is the key. And I had another client reply to a message from me today and, talk about if I could pick a bar but I guess I can figure out if it has the right balance. And I thought, yes, like, she gets it. She gets that she can eat whatever she wants, but if she balances those macronutrients, she's going to get that feeling of energy and that feeling that she's looking for, right? And she's going to, have consistent blood sugar and so many factors. Anyways, my water boiled. I have another call, but I just wanted to hop on. Thanks for watching.